Hello, hello, and welcome to Oracle Hour. My name is Sabrina Rising. I'm a spiritual mentor and a psychic medium, and I've been holding space for many, many years, and it is my honor to channel spirit on your behalf. I come live here every Wednesday and every Sunday at 5 p.m. Pacific, and I absolutely love to be here with you. I love this broadcast. I love talking about topics that we might all be struggling with as human beings, and in our personal development journey and our spiritual journey. I usually give a talk about, something that's going on either with me or in the collective or in my coaching containers. And so we're going to do a deep dive tonight on a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about the alchemy of forgiveness and how important it is to not hold resentments or bitterness and to be able to move on from the things that have happened to us in our lives so that we can open ourselves up to receiving and expanding and manifesting what it is that we deeply, deeply desire. So we're streaming live in 4 places. We're streaming live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and Instagram. If you are anywhere else other than YouTube, you can see me, but I can't see you. So join us on YouTube at Sabrina Rising if you want a question answered. If you have a question for the Oracle, I am the Oracle. So you can ask me a question about anything that's happened in your life, anything that is currently happening, or anything that might happen in the future. My goal is to connect you to your higher self, to your spirit guide, to your own intuitive guidance, to your loved ones that have crossed over. I don't prefer to do mediumship in this format, but if mediumship is available, if there is someone in the spirit realm that's here that has a message for you and wants to connect with you, then I will convey the message. Okay, so again, there's no limits to what you can ask. If you're struggling in your life, if you're dealing with pain or fear or resistance, or things are just not working out for you, or you have some questions about your spiritual path, your spiritual journey, what to align with, what has integrity for you, what doesn't, how to manage a situation in your life, then please don't be shy. Put your question in the chat. Welcome to our returning members. Hello, everybody. Hello, Alexa. Hello, Miss Makea. Rhonda, it's good to see you. Hi, Maria. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you all. And so again, if you are a returning member, you know the process. I will give a talk, and usually the talk sets the tone for the discussion that we're going to have tonight. Okay, so please stay for the whole broadcast if you can, simply because the questions that are answered are usually for all of us. Okay, so even if I'm not interacting with you, if you don't have a chance to get your question answered, if you're listening to me interacting and guiding someone else in their question, the message is almost always for all of us. Okay, so we gather here together every week, and there's always a theme. Tonight, I'm setting the tone about letting go of resentments. I'm setting the tone around forgiveness and the alchemy of forgiveness and what this does for us energetically. And this is so important for all of us that want to live well, that want to experience expansion, not only energetically, emotionally, spiritually, but also physically as well. Okay, holding on to resentments and bitterness can have a toxic effect on our physical health, and we're going to jump into that in a moment. Okay, for those of you that are looking specifically for mediumship connections, as I mentioned, this is not my preferred format to do that. I invite you to join my YouTube channel. Every month, I hold a psychic gallery reading, which is basically a group psychic reading. Everyone receives a message or has an opportunity to work with me one-on-one. It's in a Zoom environment, so we can interact with each other. But that is exclusively for the 3rd tier membership level on my YouTube channel. And I also do a bi-monthly mediumship circle. So if you have someone in the spirit realm that you want to connect with, if you want to be part of a mediumship event, even if you just want to observe and receive messages or receive transformation just by listening to me interact with another person, the mediumship circles are very, very powerful. Mediumship is an extraordinary tool that allows us to connect with our loved ones, those that have crossed over, those that perhaps we feel incomplete with, or we have questions for, we want a message from. It can be so deeply healing and deeply transformational, especially if you're holding on to a lot of grief. Okay, so consider joining the 3rd tier level membership on my YouTube channel. There's the link to do that. It is the Inner Oracle for my community members. For those of you that are already on the 1st tier, you have priority access in the chat, so I'll be answering your questions first. Those options are available for you there. Just click on that link, and I will leave that there for you to consider while we jump into our show tonight. Okay, I'm going to make sure that we are also live on Instagram. It always requires a double click for me to do that. Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining me live. Hi, Emily. Good to see you. Okay, beautiful. Okay, so for tonight, as I mentioned, I want to talk about the alchemy of forgiveness. And why is forgiveness alchemizing? Is because it literally transforms our energy mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. It liberates us from the gravitational pull of what it means to hold on to bitterness, to resentment, to anger, to pain, and which ultimately leads to suffering. When we hold on to our pain, when we resist transmuting our pain and moving from our pain, dissolving it into love and acceptance, then we suffer, right? And when we suffer mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, we inevitably suffer physically as well. Okay, so this is such an important topic, especially if you're on a personal development journey or a spiritual journey. We cannot have what we want, what we deeply desire in our everyday lives. It's impossible to manifest abundance, to manifest joy and loving, committed, deep, and meaningful relationships with like-minded people if in some area of your life you're bitter or angry or resentful, or you're holding a grudge, or you haven't fully let go or forgiven or accepted something in your life. Forgiveness is not about condoning the past. It's really not about letting people off the hook or pretending that like it didn't happen, or bypassing the event without having fully given yourself the space to process the trauma, the organic, authentic feelings that are there. It's important that you find support and deep empathy for whatever it is that happened to you before you can move on. Okay, so forgiveness requires stages. So there's the awareness of what happened to you, the willingness to talk about it, the willingness to face it head on, perhaps to ask for support so that you can no longer carry this burden on your own. For so many of us, we don't really come into a state of awareness that there are things to forgive until we start talking to other people. Perhaps you're talking to a therapist or a guide or a facilitator, or even your significant other. We realize that we're holding on to resentments. Every single one of us has them. It's part of the human experience to get angry and to feel hurt or to feel disappointed by others, to have thwarted expectations. Perhaps you were victimized in early childhood or at any point in the timeline of your life, and you have feelings about that. And those feelings are appropriate, right? We always react to the interference of the natural flow of our essence, and our essence is love. And so when something happens in life to interfere or interrupt the essence of love, our ability to love another person, to love ourselves, our ability to live in a state of unconditional love, we feel that and we contract on a soul level. And that contraction causes a limitation. It causes a block. It causes a lack of peace, a disturbance of our inner peace, which inevitably prevents us. It blocks us from having, all of our needs met. It blocks us from being able to expand fully and manifest a life that we deeply, deeply desire. As I mentioned in the beginning, resentment and bitterness can really act as a gravitational pull. It keeps us stuck and limited. Perhaps it affects your perception, right? Your ability to trust others, your ability to feel safe, your ability to believe that something is possible for you, or perhaps it affects your ability to be in relationships, to make yourself vulnerable and to connect, even on an intimate level, right? So looking at what's happened to you in your life as you're listening to this conversation, I invite you to examine what happened to me in my life to cause me to feel angry, bitter, resentful, mistrustful of my environment. Okay. And it's very important. I always advocate for this. Take a look at those things that are troubling you and write them down, right? Just get them out of your body, out of your system, and write them down so that you can take a good, hard, honest look at some of the resentments that you're holding on to. Some resentments feel justified. And I say this with love and respect, and I've said it many, many times. There is no such thing as a justified resentment. Okay. And that's true no matter what happened to you. And I know that could be hard to hear, especially if something very brutal and very horrific happened to you, something that feels unforgivable. We are responsible for our own inner peace and our own well-being. So regardless of what happened to you, even if it wasn't your fault, it's your responsibility to heal it. Okay, so being able to process the trauma takes willingness, it takes personal responsibility, it takes a lot, oftentimes it takes a guide, an empathetic connection, a container where you feel met in unconditional love, where there's no judgment, where you feel safe to share, to come out of shame. So as we come out of shame by talking about what happened to us, and then to have ourselves be met with unconditional love and compassion can be very freeing and very healing. And this allows us to move into a state of forgiveness, a state of deep acceptance, even if we can't understand what happened to us. You know, for so many of us, we don't understand why this happened. I don't understand why this happened when I was 5 or when I was 6, or I don't understand why this happened at whatever stage, you know, in the timeline of my life. You don't have to understand something to accept it and move on. It can just be your willingness to say, okay, I see what happened and I can see the effect it's having on me today by the resentment that I'm harboring as a result of it, the limitations that it's created, the fear that it's imprinted in my subconscious mind, the barriers that it has inevitably created both consciously and unconsciously for me to be able to be fully self-expressed and receive all there is for me to receive in this human experiment that we're all in. Okay, so it's very important that forgiveness acts as a doorway to higher realms of consciousness, right? When we move into that pure state of being, that pure state of peace, there is no bitterness, there is no grudges, there is no ill will towards my fellow man, regardless of, you know, I know for some people it's harder to forgive others, some than others, and it's very important that we bring this willingness to our personal practice, because this really frees us up and it allows us to not only to transcend our limitation, but also to neutralize karma, to complete soul contracts, and to open ourselves fully to the portals that allow for abundance, for expansion, for growth, and for the life that we so deeply desire. Okay, so again, forgiveness is not about condoning what happened to you, especially for those of us that have had traumatic childhoods, or we've had a lot of victimization throughout life. Understanding that we play a part in that victimization and that we are partially responsible for co-creating a new reality, okay, for ourselves. So coming out of victim consciousness and creating and moving into creator consciousness requires personal responsibility. It requires you letting go of the story that you're a victim, letting go of the story that you're a person who is at the effect of other people or at the effect of your circumstances. Okay, and that means that we don't get to hide behind that anymore either. If I'm 100% responsible for the quality of my life, there's nobody to blame, right? There's nobody to hold accountable other than myself. And this is very freeing and very empowering. Can also be a little bit scary, right? So just meet yourself with love and compassion and trust that you have more power than you do. You are an all-powerful, all-knowing being. You just don't have access to this awareness because of your conditioning, because of your limiting beliefs and your bitterness and your resentments and your trauma and your unhealed wounds, keeping you stuck in old paradigms that don't give you access to these this omniscient way of operating, right? Which is available to all human beings. You know, when we sit here and we channel universal intelligence and we receive guidance and messages and connections from loved ones and spirit guides, this is not magic, right? This is it's a natural byproduct of 4D, 5D consciousness that allows us to receive these messages and to connect in a way we don't feel separate, right? Time is fluid and we feel connected to all life, to all of creation. And so this is available to us as we do the healing work to move into deeper states of unconditional love. And that's not possible without forgiveness. Okay, so see if you can find something in your life that you might be holding on to, some kind of bitterness or resentment, and see if you can give yourself permission to let that go. It doesn't have to be, you know, everything all at once. You can do this in stages, in small increments that honor you in your process. Just let one thing at a time go, and know that all of the work that you're doing, whatever it is that you're choosing to let go of, is replaced with more love, with more expansion, with more abundance, with the universe meeting you at this level of willingness, the willingness to receive light, to be in the light, and to experience more embodied unconditional love. And this is my wish for you and my wish for all beings everywhere. Okay, good. Thank you for hanging in with me. We're going to jump into our live questions here tonight as we talk about forgiveness. I have a sense that we're going to be answering some questions around letting go of the past so we can make room for a more expansive future. All right. I have my trusted moderator here with me tonight. Lacey's in the house. So, Lacey, I will take the first question whenever you're ready. Hi, Maria. Maria says, did the nurse I was at use a clean needle when I was taking a blood sample? She was very young, seemed very unsure. While the needles she pushed. Okay, so I'm reading this question and I'm wondering if you heard the first part of the talk, right? So, and I know you were here before we started, so this is perfect in terms of answering your question and like letting go of the past, right? So that we can make room for a clear perception of what's happening in the here and now, right? So this suspicion around the nurse and suspicion around what happened at the clinic is not coming from what happened at the clinic. It's actually coming from a preconceived notion that you're at risk, that you're not safe. And I know that we've talked about this before, Maria, of feeling unsafe in general. So the psychic hit on your question, because that's why, I know that's what you want. And that's why you asked the question, is that you're fine. You're totally fine. There isn't anything wrong. There isn't any infection or disease. I don't feel anything, dangerous about what happened to you. And of course, I'm not a medical professional. I'm not here to give diagnosis, but I can tell you from a yes, no perspective, you're going to be fine. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, I want you to really examine the part of you that jumps to that suspicion or that jumped to that panic or that anxiety about feeling safe, and really meet yourself with love and compassion, because the deeper wound is, I don't feel safe. I don't feel I can trust other people. And particularly, I want to say it's both men and women for you, but particularly in this female situation, there's a judgment and then there's a mistrust. Okay. And that comes from childhood. So I invite you to explore that a little bit deeper so that you can relax and you can breathe easy, and you can develop more trust with the world around you. And of course, that always starts with developing more trust with yourself. Okay, Maria, that's my message for you tonight. Thank you for stopping by and asking. Good. Hi, Jennifer. Jennifer says, hello, hope all is well. I hope all is well with you too. I want to know if my guides have anything for me for the month of July, maybe house selling news or other info. Thank you so much. Okay, Jennifer, we haven't sold this house yet. Let's see what's going on with you in the house. Okay, so I want to acknowledge that you've done quite a bit of work in terms of letting go of your attachment around selling this property, which is a really beautiful thing to see. It's really, I know that this was like a front and center, thing. And I know it's obviously still on your mind, but it feels like you've expanded your, yeah, there's been a lot of new stuff. And so I don't know if there's like, it feels like there's a new job and there's new friendships or connections and so on. I feel like for the month of July, I think your social life is taking a bit of experiencing a bit of an uptick. So you're out making connections, maybe meeting new people and making, just new energies in your life. And it's interesting because here's what I want to say to you, Jennifer. So for a long time, you have been in this sort of like start a new job on Monday. Oh, yay. Congratulations. Okay, good. Thank you for validating. Congratulations on the new job. Here's what I see for you, Jennifer. So for a long time, you have been sort of seems like you've been intentionally keeping yourself separate from people, like keeping yourself, I want to say kind of in a hermit phase, separate from people, separate from society, just kind of focused on you and focused on just keeping yourself safe. Okay. I'll just put it that way. And now as you bring in more energy and you allow more connections into your life and you start opening up your horizons a little bit and your world starts expanding, as you bring in more of this new energy, the things that you've been holding on to, the things that you've been trying to move away from are naturally going to fall away. I actually think that starting the new job and making new friends and going out and being social and just kind of like forgetting about the property and forgetting about the house is going to facilitate it's going to accelerate the sale of this property, because now it's no longer resonates with where you're at. because now your heart's more open, you're more expanded, and you're more connected to your life and the people around you. So I feel like the job is a positive, and they're very much looking forward to you being there. It feels like it's a challenging job, but you're very well prepared for it. You've got a lot of mental resilience and inner strength to bring to this type of role, which I feel is going to go over well. And the connections that you're going to make are going to expand you, and they're going to soften the edges of your heart a little bit. And as that happens, you're letting things go. And so everything else that in your life that's no longer a sort of a vibrational match for where you're at is naturally going to fall away. Okay. So that's my message for you for July. And it's at the prison. Oh, okay, good. So this is the intensity, right? That requires a lot of resilience and inner strength to be at this job. So I think it's going to be great. I think you're going to meet some colleagues that you respect, and it's going to open up your world, and as a mental health therapist. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, I love this. Like, think of the impact that you're going to have, and think of, like, how many people you're going to help, and like your world is going to open up, the connections that you're going to make. And I want you to go out and be more social. It's so important, especially for the month of July. The more you expand and open yourself up to this new life that you're building, the more the old life is falling off of you. Okay, so just let that happen, and come back and let me know how that unfolds for you. Okay, Jennifer, thank you for being here tonight. I hope that's helpful. Hi, Rhonda. Rhonda says, hello, Sabrina. My cold is better. And as suggested, I looked at my insecurities and the other stuff around being in the new environment. And the fact is, I did feel less than. The class is filled with top. Keep going. Is there more? I think you took my coaching and you looked a little bit deeper in terms of feeling like you didn't belong, right? Top-notch professionals, but I decided I deserve to be there. Okay, good. Thank you for sharing that. I love this for you, Rhonda. This is beautiful. I love that you were able to tap into that part of you, that see how you unconsciously created the cold, right? We talked about this so that you could sort of not be there, or stay out of that environment. So I love that you see that, and that you acknowledged it. There's a deeper level of belonging and acceptance, and I want you to keep working on that. Okay. Because that's really going to bring you it's going to bring you a lot of power, especially in the class, and as a result of having taken this class. Okay, so good for you. I'm celebrating you, Rhonda. Yay. Hi, Alexa. Alexa says, hi, all. I got an offer for a house that opens next month and has most of what I'm looking for. I'm wondering if it will be suitable for me, or if I should hold out for a better fit. There's a lot of second guessing, I want you to trust yourself. I think you already know. I think you already really know in your body. I'm going to help you connect to your knowing. Okay. So you're watching live. I'm assuming you're here watching live. I want you to take a deep diaphragmatic breath, put your hand on your heart. I want you to visualize this house, and what do you feel in your body, right? Feel yourself leaning into it. I feel an expansive yes when I tune into your energy, and I tune into the opportunity of this house. Yeah, let me see here. There's a caveat. Let me just tune into the subtle energy. Yeah, this is exactly what you want, and yet you holding yourself back. This is like, there's a part of you that like really, really wants this, and then as soon as you get what you want, this is a pattern, right? And we talked about this. We talked about this a few weeks ago, and there's a pattern. As soon as you get exactly what you want, you pull yourself out, or you start to second guess it. This is what's happening. Okay, I want you to go for it. I really do. I want you to go for it. I want you to step into it and trust that you're going to have exactly the experience you're supposed to have. Okay. It has most of what I'm looking for. Yeah. I mean, it feels like it checks off all the boxes. It feels like there even are some other things that are good about this place that you haven't fully considered yet. Okay. So I want you to explore that and really just trust your gut feeling. This is the first priority for you, is to find your sanctuary, is to really solidify your living arrangements, because without this, everything else feels very ungrounded. Okay. So trust your body. My confirmation is they're beautiful. Yes, it's a pattern. Haha. Yes, it's just a rent. It doesn't have as much natural light as I want, but I can adapt. Yeah, good. I was going to say, I hope it's a rental. Good. There are beautiful community aspects too. Good. Yeah. You're going to be happy here. I want you to, just, it's okay. There's the fear of making a mistake is keeping you trapped, right? So I want you to go for it. It's a rental. I love it. I think you'll be okay with less natural light. Like you said, you'll adapt, and there's a nice community. There's lots of nature around here. So my sense is this is a yes for you. I really want you to go for it. I want you to take the leap. You're going to be provided for too. I think also financially, there's a way for you to put some structures in place to have everything feel stable and reliable. This is what's needed for you, Alexa, is that reliability, the safety, and the structure, and the repetition of that over many, many months is going to create neural pathways in your brain. And this is true for all of us, right? Once we adapt to a structure, a way of operating, and we stick to it, it creates neural pathways in the brain that says, I'm safe and everything's reliable. And you have this unconscious belief that everything is going to happen exactly as you need it to, in a consistent way, so that you can relax, and this will help your nervous system as you're building this life. Okay, so Alexis says, thank you. I needed the validation, and yes, the fear is real. I appreciate you. Yeah, I know. I feel it. I can feel your fear, and so I really want you to take some deep diaphragmatic breaths, put your hand on your heart, and just trust it's okay. I'm confirming what your higher self already knows, and this is my job. This is the job of any guide or any intuitive or psychic or channel, is to connect you with your own inner wisdom. I'm not giving you an answer you don't already have, you don't already have access to. You're just, the fear sometimes makes it difficult to trust, or to really listen, and to really hear it as a clear answer, as a clear inner knowing. Okay, so I'm happy for you. Let me know how it unfolds. I'd love to hear about the new place, so come back and let us know. Okay, thank you for being part of our community. All right, who's next? Maria says, thank you, miss. You're welcome. You're very, very welcome. I know you're grateful, and I'm grateful to have you here. All right, good. Thank you for being part of the community. Okay, who's next? Emily. Nice to see you, Emily. Emily says, please, may I have some guidance now that I've moved? Oh, good. I would love to know what's in store for me. Good. Okay, so the thing that's coming through for me to share as you're asking this question is, it's really good. This is a good principle for anyone who's getting readings on a regular basis, or getting even mediumship on a regular basis. It's good to allow some time for things to unfold and to develop, right? This is very important, that you want sort of things to take shape, to see how your energy is affecting the outcome. I feel like we talked about you moving, and you're just moved, and how things are going to unfold for you. For me, not much has changed as far as you being where you are. It feels like you're in either reunited with your mom or some other family members as well, currently in this current energy that you're in. And I think that there is sense of starting over, which is beautiful. It can be scary, and it can be a little lonely, but it's also a beautiful opportunity for you to recreate your life. So instead of looking at it as like what's in store or what's going to happen, I want you to look at like, what do I want to create? This is the mindset shift I want to offer you, Emily, because what you want to create is very empowering. What do I want to build here? What can I create here? My sense is that there are opportunities to build relationships. You're going to be in a smaller school with more intimate setting, more intimate, environment. Yes, I'm reunited with my mom. Okay, good. So I feel that. And that's important for you and her. Okay. So let's talk about the school for a second. Intimate setting, you're not going to get lost in the crowd. There'll be an opportunity for you to make one or two really close friends. So that'll be nice for you. Other transplants as well. I feel like where you are, there are people from other places, and that's a common thing. So, you'll have that in common. And being reunited with your mom is important, because there's some healing work for the two of you to do, as far as, and I hope you listened to the beginning of the broadcast when I talked about coming out of resentments and forgiveness and healing trauma, and just being able to alchemize that energy so that you can have the life that you want, so that you can feel good, you can have inner peace. You are in a full circle moment, having moved and being reunited with your mom. This is an opportunity for the two of you to really heal your relationship. So my guidance for you for the next few months is to really take a good look at how that relationship has affected you, your trust levels, your, any lingering resentments and so on, and see how you can create an environment of peace with her, even if it's just acceptance, and there's some things that she might have a difficult time hearing. Okay. So again, I'm advocating for your healing process with your mother, because that's really going to help you create mental, emotional, and physical wellness. And I feel like you're going to have support in your community. So you'll have support either in school that you're going to, like there's a few friends that you're going to be studying with, again, time in nature. I think we talked about this, or I'm not sure if we talked about this, but it seems like there's some natural studies, or studies of nature, studies of biology type nature, and that's going to be beneficial for your path. Okay, so Emily says, yeah, she has a history of being volatile. Yeah. Okay. So see how you know that going in, right? So this is already a preconceived notion of, what I'm going into, like who she is, which limits your ability to be with her, to be at peace when you're in her presence, right? And the story that you're holding on to about your mom is creating contraction on a cellular level, right? So, and this is not allowing you to feel open and optimistic and hopeful and trusting about the relationships that you can make. So the relationship we have with our caregivers affects our belief system. It affects our every relationship we have from there on out, right? So it's very important right now, as you're being reunited with her. It's not an accident that you're there. You're there to get healthy, and you're there to get well, and you're there to reboot your system. It's kind of like a do-over. Like I said, this is a full circle moment for you. Okay, Emily? Yeah, so that's my guidance for you. And I recommend you come and do some deeper inner work so that we can deal with some of the limiting beliefs that are causing pain in your life. Okay, especially the physical suffering. All right. So Lacey will put a link at the end. All right. So you can come talk to me. All right. Beautiful. Thank you for being here, Emily. Hi, Angela. Hello. Greetings from Angela says, greetings from Canada. I love Canada. I'm originally from Montreal. I don't know if you can hear it, but I live in Los Angeles now. It's been almost 15 years. So thank you for being here, Angela. It's good to see you. Emily says, thank you. You're welcome, Emily. And let me know how it goes. Okay. Come back and let me know, especially if you run into problems with mom. Come back and talk to us about it. Okay. Good. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly says, good evening. Good evening to you. Hi, I'm very aware of my empathetic abilities. Beautiful. I am wondering if what is in store for my future. Okay, good. So again, I'm going to give you the same mindset shift that I gave to Emily. What's in store for me is what you're willing to create. Now, the better question is, what can I create with the energy that's available? Okay, so this is a better question. Notice it's a different reframe, a different sort of way of languaging it that creates an opening. So what can I create given the current energy, given what I'm bringing to the table, what my current trajectory is, what I've been through, what my belief system is, and what's available based on that. So for you, first of all, I think we've talked about this before, but I do feel like, part of your soul's journey here is to learn how to stand on your own 2 feet, is to learn how to create something, okay? How to build something on your own, how to not depend on others. You do have empathetic abilities, but I want you to clean them up, because most empaths, and this is true for me, certainly was true for me, especially in the early stages of my healing journey, are extremely codependent. Okay, so we want to come out of codependency. We want to come out of caretaking others. We want to come out of depending on others or feeling like we need others, being enmeshed in other people. Empaths tend to take on other people's feelings. We feel responsible for other people's emotions. We feel responsible for their happiness. And this has been true for you, Kimberly. Okay, so I want you to to really emancipate yourself from this way of operating. Cleaning up your empathic abilities is going to require coming out of codependent thinking and the tendency to want to create codependent dynamics, which can be addictive. It can be emotionally addictive because we feel like we're purposeful, we're useful in other people's lives when we engage in codependent ways. And yet it's such a life force drain for us, and it's not serving the people that we love, and it's not serving us either. Okay, so I want you to clean up your empathetic abilities by creating good boundaries and really establishing your personal sovereignty. This will actually heighten your ability to have deep empathy. Empathy feels energizing. It's not meant to feel draining. It feels good to offer deep empathy. It feels good to be able to tune in and offer, resources, emotional resources to people that are struggling when you're not taking on the responsibility of the burden. Okay. So this is important for you, Kimberly, as you move into, it feels like you're moving into a career, work, a vocational expression that allows you to facilitate healing in others. And, we come to this work, all of us come to this work because we need to heal ourselves first, right? So you don't just wake up one day and decide you want to help other people. You usually come to this work, especially as an alternative or holistic facilitator, as someone who has done a lot of personal development work, who wants to help, who has helped heal yourself from different things that you've struggled with in your life, and now it's time for you to help others. So for you, Kimberly, I really see this being like a parallel thing. They're happening at the same time, simultaneously. You're helping yourself, and this enables you to help other people. And this is important for you. And there's a material aspect here as well. So creating safety and feeling provided for on your own. Again, the message being able to stand on your own 2 feet is very loud and clear. Okay, so this is what's in store for you in terms of your question. This is what you can create given the current energy that's available. Okay, this is for you, Kimberly. Kimberly says, I feel sometimes overwhelmed. I lived by myself for the last 2 years. I applied to I don't know how to pronounce that course, but only accepted as an alternate. I also applied as a flight attendant opening that hasn't come. Gotcha. Yeah. Neither one of these things really feel aligned for you, and keeping in mind that when we don't get the job that we are applying for, we don't get the thing that we are, going for. And I've talked about this in other videos, so please watch. I think we posted one today about how to unblock ourselves or how to live in the flow. I want you to go back and watch that one, because when you're not getting the thing that you think you want, it's usually because your higher self knows better. Okay, so our higher self is always protecting us, guiding us, and redirecting us to the path that's truly authentic for us. Okay, so there is an energy of like trying to make something work, or find some grounding or find some footing. And this is what the ego does. It wants to keep you safe, right? Especially when you're in a situation where you feel like, I feel ungrounded or unsettled, so I have to make something happen. So let me just go for something. Okay, so neither one of these particular jobs or roles that you're applying for feel aligned for you. I want you to really sit and think about not what you can do, or what you can, what the path of least resistance is, but what do you really want, right? What do you deeply desire? Okay, because that's what your higher self is going to let you have. All right, so it's okay to live by yourself. I think you need that. You need to learn how to be on your own, again, to stand on your own 2 feet. This is what, spirit is guiding me to tell you. And neither one of these paths are really going to do it for you, as far as like, lighting you up and providing for you, not just financially, but on a soul level. Kimberly says, I have my horse riding instructor business, but it's not keeping me financially afloat. Okay, good. I like the horse riding instructor business. This feels like a yes to me. Okay, it feels like a yes to me. And I feel like you could do more to expand this, perhaps in your community, perhaps networking, talking to other people. There is an opportunity to grow this. Okay. And expand this business. Right. So, yeah, I want you to work on your belief system, the belief about, being provided for and feeling safe and being capable of doing this on your own. And I think you'll find that some things open up, even maybe some, you know, um, investors or things like that could happen as a result of you shifting your relationship to this horse riding instructor business. I like this for you. This feels like a natural expression of who you are, helping people in this way. Yeah, and maybe bringing in some equine therapy and stuff like that. So this feels more aligned with your soul, with your energetic blueprint, and it feels like it brings you joy, right? You wouldn't like the flight attendant job. That would not be, and it would take you away from what you're doing. Okay, so keep in mind that when spirit doesn't give us what we want, it's always giving us what we need. Okay, and that's true for you, Kimberly. All right, so really focusing on your beliefs and finding ways. I want you to sit and ask your higher self to show you ways that you can expand upon this so that you can grow this business and it can be what it has the potential to become. All right, because you're really, really good at this. This is a natural soul essence expression for you. Okay, that's my message for you, Kimberly. Beautiful. All right, who is next? Hi, Last Opus. Last Opus says, Sabrina, I'm considering a new career in dog training and behavior. Do you see that as a good fit? Let's see. I mean, I love dogs. Who doesn't love dogs? Do I see that as a good fit for you? Okay, so first of all, how does it feel in your body, right? How does it feel when you really lean in and consider this opportunity for yourself? My concern is this for you, okay? When I lean into the energy based on your question, based on, you asking it, I think there is I think you might feel limited, okay? So as long as this opportunity has an opportunity for a component where you can keep adding to it, then you're going to be okay. This is a good fit. If all you're doing is dog training and behavior, you're going to feel bored and you're going to feel limited. It's going to feel like it's not fully meeting that sense of fulfillment. There is a much deeper calling to serve not just animals, but like, the energy working with animals is very, to me, is sacred. Okay. So, especially dogs, because they represent unconditional love and they're so healing and therapeutic. Their energy is very healing and therapeutic. So I think that there's something deeper here to explore. Okay. So maybe even training service animals or service animals for a specific type of demographic, or as long as this is something that you can keep adding to, what you're offering and you're working for yourself, then this is a good opportunity for you. You need those components here. Okay. You can't just go work for, a franchise or a corporation or, that's not good. You're not going to be happy with that. All right. So I think that this is a good opportunity for you to really sit with your own relationship to animals, to really trusting the inclination towards serving in that way and seeing what kind of difference you can make for humans as you do this work. Yes, my intent is for service dogs. Okay, good. So then if that's the trajectory you're on, then you have my blessing. Of course, it's not my blessing, it's your higher self blessing you through me. So yeah, this is very, very good. And you keep adding to it, feels like there's a specialty here around like service animals for a particular specific demographic, which I think will feel very empowering for you. So yes, I love this. Okay. So, best of luck with this venture and come back and let us know how this unfolds for you. I'd love to hear about it. Thanks for stopping by. Good. Yeah, you're welcome. Last Opus says always appreciated. I appreciate you too. Thank you for joining us tonight. Good. Hi, Sabrina. Nice to see you. Sabrina says, I just recently went silent on my relationship. I got sick of some things going on. Did I do the right thing? Okay. Here's how I want to answer this question. I think you need a boundary for sure. I would never advocate for going silent on a relationship. Okay. This is not this behavior lacks integrity. And of course, I say this with love and respect, Sabrina. I know you're in a difficult situation and you're just trying to protect yourself and keep yourself safe. So I'm not trying to make you wrong, but I do think that going silent on someone is not the way to deal with a conflict situation. Okay. So what I would prefer you to do is to be fully transparent about what's not working for you. And then set your boundary. Okay. So, and that gives proper energetic closure, and it sort of lets him know what's going on. So he's not wondering about what happened or what did I do and so on. And it keeps the whole thing very clean. Okay. This is important, Sabrina, because, this pattern in your relationship is not over. It feels like it's ongoing, like you guys make some headway and then it goes back to this type of situation, or, you have a conversation about it and then promises are made and then those promises are not kept. So it feels like, this is an ongoing pattern. Okay. So the way out of this dynamic is to kind of come clean and talk about what's not working for you, talk about how this is making you feel, talk about what your needs are, and make requests based on those needs, and just be very, very transparent about that, and then see if your partner is willing to meet you at the level of need. See if your partner is willing to support you at getting your needs met. And if he's not, which my sense is that he might say, oh yeah, sure, and then not hold up his end of the bargain, right? But then you have an agreement that now you can hold him accountable for. And so once you have, in the next cycle of broken agreements, you can end the relationship for good. This is how I see this unfolding, because I feel like, you're not being forthcoming about what it is that is fully not working for you, like in terms of what your needs are. And that's creating some misunderstanding in the relationship. Okay. So I don't want you to go silent. I want you to do the opposite. I want you to be vocal about your unmet needs and then make a decision from there, because staying in this dynamic is really hurting you. It's really draining you emotionally. Sabrina says, thank you, Sabrina. It did feel a little wrong how I acted. Okay, good. Yeah. And I'm here to be honest with you. I know it's hard, especially when you're in a reaction. And when we get, upset, we go to our coping mechanisms, and our coping mechanisms are behaviors we learned that were modeled for us, usually in childhood. So, shutting down and going silent is not, this is not the way to handle this. And I want you to be done with this pattern. Okay. So, what I'm intimating at. Okay. There is a need for a transparent dialogue about something in the relationship that leaves you feeling unsafe and that creates a lot of mistrust, and that needs to be addressed. And if he can't meet you there, then you need to get out. Okay. That would be my guidance for you tonight. Okay. Sabrina, thank you for stopping by, and come back and let us know how that unfolds for you. Right? Beautiful. Maria says, I am also wondering, Philip told me he will move to another town. We live in Bergen, Norway. Oh, hi, welcome from Norway. He tells me he will move to another place. I'm just wondering, do you see him moving, starting all over? Yeah, I mean, I think that this relationship is done. This is my sense. I feel like this relationship is done, and it's, I think that there is, I think it's a good thing. I do feel like he will move. Here's what I want to say to you, Maria. My sense is that there's volatility in this relationship. So there's a pattern of blowing up and coming together, blowing up and coming together. And I feel like there's going to be another round of that causes this break, and it's going to be a good thing. And my advice to you would be to let this happen, to let it go, to let it unfold, and to trust that you're much better off just focusing on you, focusing on your mental health, focusing on, Marisa is very accurate. Yeah, thank you for validating. I think that you need to really get off the crazy train. This is what I want to tell you, from one woman to another. Maria says, oh geez, yes, I know there are so many downfalls with this man. Yeah, good. So you need to get off this situation, get out of the situation, and focus on your own mental health. What do you want to create? what kind of relationship do you want to have with yourself? How do you want to feel? How do you want to experience relationship? What do you want to, experience with another person? How do you want to be met? Really do some work to get intentional about the kind of relationships you want to be in. Okay. It's not enough to just find somebody who wants to be with you, or who wants to look after you, or who wants to, provide for you. That's insufficient. Okay. And I know that that's a survival mechanism that you've been operating with. Okay. So I want you to let that go and really focus on, creating a healthier relationship with yourself, boosting your own self-esteem, so that you can attract someone who can meet you there. Okay. Maria says, it's a hell of a crazy ride. I do feel like he wants to start over after he moves. I don't know if you mean that he wants to start over with you, but I think he should start over without you. I think both of you should start over without each other and move on without each other and bless each other and thank him for all the lessons and thank him for all the ways he showed you where you could love yourself a little bit more, and then, move on from this situation. That would be my guidance for you, Maria. Okay. And again, this is all in the vein of keeping yourself safe, and getting out of a toxic cycle in this relationship with this man, okay, which is really gnawing away at your self-esteem. And when we feel unsettled, we feel rattled in our self-esteem, we feel like ungrounded, is what I'm trying to say. We don't make sound choices, okay, and you're not thinking clearly. Okay, you don't want to be with this person, and you don't need to be with this person. In fact, you're kind of almost addicted to the toxicity of the relationship because it mirrors an early childhood environment that you were in. Okay, so this is the work for you to do, is to untangle yourself from him so you can focus on healing yourself, taking stock in the kind of relationships you want to create, and taking responsibility for creating those very intentionally. Okay, that's my message for you tonight, Maria. Okay. That's okay. This will be the last question for tonight. Okay, Lacey. So every time do you feel he will try to come back to me? It doesn't matter. I mean, I think, yes, I think that's what the two of you do. I think there's a magnetic pull towards this chaotic, volatile situation. This is a trauma bond. That's what trauma bonds do, whether it's you or him. If you walk away, he'll bounce back. If he walks away, you bounce back. I mean, this is kind of the cycle that you're in, and it's not healthy for either one of you. Okay, so my coaching is to take a step back and to remove yourself from the situation and focus on healing yourself. Okay, that's my message for you tonight. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I think that's all for questions. I love being here with you. I love channeling spirit on your behalf. For those of you that are considering joining our membership, we have an upcoming mediumship circle in July called Spirit Speaks. It's a 2-hour event. So I would love to share that with you. And again, the link to join the YouTube channel, Lacey will post that here for you. You can join at the 3rd tier level, and have access to bi-monthly mediumship circles and monthly psychic gallery readings, which is basically a group psychic gallery reading where I will relay universal intelligence messages for everybody. Everybody receives an opportunity to work with me one-on-one, and you can ask questions about whatever it is that you're going through in your life. So that's the link to join the channel. If you want to do a deep dive with me, if you want an hour of my undivided attention, and you want to go deeper into whatever it is that's going on in your life, you're welcome to book a reading with me. Lacey will post a link for readings with Sabrina. Right now, we have a promotional a special going on for readings. It's 30 minutes for $150. So you can check that out when you click on the link. And of course, if you want a full hour, it's more than that. So, but check out the link and check out also my website. You can join my newsletter. If you opt into my newsletter on my website, you get 10% off of any reading or any long-term coaching container as well. Rhonda says, thank you, Sabrina, for sharing your gifts. And thank you, Lacey. Thank you, Lacey. And thank you, Rhonda, for being here. We love having you here, Rhonda, every week. Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me here tonight. You've got the links to come and work with me. the joining the channel and the readings, and I believe that's all. Oh no, there's one more. We have I have a psychic gallery reading coming on July 7th. If you want to be on the wait list for that, that is the link to join. It's just to get your name on the wait list. And so you understand how a psychic gallery reading works. You'll receive a list of instructions and how to prepare. Okay. Once again, it's my pleasure to be here with you all tonight. I'm sending you all my love. And remember that you have the power to create your reality by managing your energy, by focusing on your mental health, doing your inner work, finding love, choosing love. We talked about forgiveness tonight, and bringing yourself online with your values and the things that you hold dear, and staying in alignment with those, okay, no matter what. All right, I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you on Sunday at 5 p.m. Take care.